Hello, and welcome to Hot Chips, the show where we talk about awesome things. And if you like that, then like us and subscribe. We've got new content that comes out every Tuesday and Thursday. Today, we'll be talking about silent protagonists. Yes or no, are they good or not? Off the back of the news that Link in the new Zelda game will not have voice acting.
Yeah, Aonuma came out to say that don't hold your breath for Link having a voice. Which, if he's saying that, he's probably implying that it's not going to be in this one, right?
So, is he saying Link won't have a voice, or no one will have a voice?
He just said, don't hold your breath for Link having a voice. So I think that still opens up the other characters.
Yeah.
Well, I'm holding out hope anyway. Because I really want a Zelda game to have voice acting.
So who do you want? Do you want Link to have a voice, or just the other characters?
Well, like in all of the Zelda games, Link, like all the other characters have text. Like they're the ones speaking.
Yeah.
So they speak. And in a lot of the games, and in some of the more recent ones, there is facial animation to show that their mouths are moving, that something is coming out of their mouth. But Link is nothing. He doesn't emote. There's no text, nothing. So if they just replace that with voices, you would have a world of speaking characters and Link remaining quiet. And I think that would work.
Yeah, I think that would work too. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
So no one wants Link to have a voice?
I'm not.
I'm happy for him to stay quiet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think no matter what they do, it's not good. No matter what you do in general, you're never going to please everyone. But I just feel like with Link, it's too long standing now to come and introduce something
They could make it
that
a
people
really
have been
good
imagining for so long. It's like it would be incredibly hard to nail that.
Oh, see, I kind of disagree. Like, Link's had a lot of games. He wears green. He has a sword. But he's a really shallow character, like, in a lot of ways.
But there's a point to that.
I don't think that's true.
I just think, like, if they did want to take a risk and go out and really develop Link as a character, well, I don't think it's going to happen, because I think they view Link as the player.
Yeah, which is the point.
Because as you say, in all the games in the past, you're able to name yourself. You don't have to be Link.
Yep.
So you can be Jordan or Theo or Miss Potter,
Face.
or whatever. But wouldn't it be cool if you could be Link, and Link was a character that had a backstory and a voice and felt certain ways about different things?
By now, he kind of has a backstory. He's saved the world a couple of times.
Well, it's a new Link every game.
Yeah, it's going to say it's
It's a new
on
Link every
Link.
single
I get
game.
that. I thought it was
Yeah.
all Hyrule.
Maybe not every game, but for most of them, it's a brand new Link. One of the things that they did in Skyward Sword, which was interesting, is anytime that Link was talking to a character, the camera would be far away, and you'd see him emoting and moving his arms. It's like,
I haven't played
you're
it.
saying something. There'd still be no text, and then the characters would go, that makes sense. And it's just like,
I was just gonna say, actually.
he's clearly said something.
Yeah.
And so why is there no text if he's clearly saying something?
He's signing.
Oh my god, he's
we only
dead.
see the back.
And so it's like, if
that'd
they
be mute.
understand what he's saying, he's clearly not completely silent, right? He's silent to the player, but he's not silent to the people in his world.
That's annoying. I think that's a cop-out.
Yeah.
That's a halfway cop-out.
Yeah, that is a
He's
bit
right.
of a
You'd be annoyed if you were talking to someone and all they could do was, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Just fetch this. Just go.
Yeah. I mean,
Is it only Skyward Sword? Because I can't recall. I'm just trying to think now. I feel like the classic Nintendo thing of him going ...
It was
and
the
then
same
them
in-
reacting has happened, but I've never seen the animation.
Same in Twilight Princess.
Oh, okay, I haven't played
Yeah.
that.
So the last two main
Okay,
ones.
right.
Before that, he would no one would really ask him anything that he would reply to.
Right.
They'd just be talking sort of at him
him,
and around
yeah.
him, and he'd just be taking it all and going, I have to do a dungeon.
Yeah.
But now people are like actually communicating with him. He's responding back, but we just can't hear him or understand what he's saying. And then they're responding, okay, cool, thanks for doing this kind of thing. It's just like, if that communication is there, then something's gone wrong.
yeah.
Your argument of just keeping him quiet for the player's sake just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because you're not keeping him quiet, you're just hiding what he's saying.
So let's talk about silent protagonists that have worked and why it works. Because I can't think of many games where there's implied talking from the silent protagonist, but because that's weird. That must be something that's quite unique too.
I think Chrono Trigger had that kind of with the ... stuff.
Yeah, I think they do that. Nintendo does that quite a bit. 'Cause I think that happens in Fire Emblem too.
Oh
No.
I think it does.
Can't
Yeah,
think of
you
it.
got like some, not necessarily the protagonist. Is it? I'm sure I've seen that. That like and then
I've
they
seen
react
it
to
when-
it, but you don't actually know what was said. Like it's
Yeah.
almost like an assumption.
But they do that to signify that you're not supposed to know.
I always thought the
Like
dot.
they're withholding information from you.
Yeah.
I always just
Or-
thought the dot
or they're a
was
zombie.
the person just not responding.
Maybe.
Like
Some-
a pause,
yeah.
like they've talked to him, he's just not responded, and
okay.
then the person's.
Sometimes
That
it
was
is
my
that.
misunderstanding.
In Fire Emblem, they do it when you're not supposed to know who the character is.
Oh, that's in the name part though.
But
not
also,
in the text.
Yeah.
the zombies,
Oh, right.
because in Sacred Stone, zombies, and you're talking to the zombie, but the zombie hasn't been trained to say anything, so he's like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
that's
just like
quite
nothing.
So it's not saying anything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
perhaps that's a
Yeah.
misunderstanding.
So like, what was I going to say? Silent protagonists that actually work. Like, I think of the Soul series, which has a silent protagonist, and that game works because it doesn't tell story through who you are. You are irrelevant, really.
Yeah.
The story to the game is told through the environments and the enemies you face and the NPCs you meet along the way. And it's a really it's a good way of telling that story, that way of storytelling that you don't need a personality.
yeah.
But then there's the opposite to that, where you're a game like Uncharted with Nathan Drake, who is essential to the story.
Yeah, yeah.
And the story is about him as the protagonist, as a fully fledged character, with voice, emotion, backstory. And it's a different form of storytelling where it's all told through him.
I don't think I've played a game with a silent protagonist apart from Link. Since because we looked it up before Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
It's the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I was just thinking because like back in those days when Crash Bandicoot came out, there wasn't really voice acting
No.
anyway. And games that had text were usually RPGs. You didn't really see
Yeah.
big stories and stuff. Like in a way, Mario in Super Mario Bros. 64 was a silent protagonist. He didn't speak other than wahoos and stuff.
Tomb Raider's always had a voice.
Has Lara Croft always spoken?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure I remember in Tomb Raider, the first Tomb Raider, she spoke.
Right, and even on the PS1 days.
I don't
See,
know.
I didn't play the original one.
Oh, okay.
Snake, yeah.
I'm relative. I
Snake
would
did, yeah.
relatively
The
sure.
Solid Studios did. And you'd have the little
So I mean, there
fun
was
conversations,
some,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, there certainly was tendency to not. It was more effects, like
Yeah.
you say. Yeah, definitely.
For me, it's Isaac Clarke from Dead Space. Like that game to me was like a new Resident Evil game, a game that I've been waiting for ages, and it had all those kind of survival horror stories. Had these characters that were kind of macho and like or trying to like prove that they're tough and strong. Whereas Isaac Clarke was like an engineer.
Yeah.
He wasn't meant to be fighting anything. He was going to a space station to fix stuff. He didn't speak, and the only times you ever really heard him emoting or anything was in fear. Like if he was stomping something, you could hear that he was panicked while he was doing it. And they kept that throughout the first game, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, they gave him a face.
Yeah.
And a bit more, and they spoke a little bit more. And then the third one, he was a completely
Couldn't stop.
fleshed out
Is it
character.
a budget thing?
No, I don't know. I don't know if they were trying to
Yeah.
build on it. Like they were trying to say, like, here's this poor. If they were using it to show how defenseless he was, how kind
Right.
of just like this average Joe,
Yeah.
and creating like a McLean, like a diehard character out of him as the series sort of progressed.
So which one did you prefer?
I preferred the first one. The
Yeah.
first one was way
Well,
better,
that was
but
good,
that
yeah.
was down to a bunch of different reasons. Like they changed the gameplay to be more action oriented, away
Yeah.
from the survival aspect.
Yeah.
They gave him more character than I wanted. I liked not knowing much about him.
So let me ask you
Really
this.
fitted his character.
But at the same time, it worked
Yeah.
because, of course, by the time you meet this alien monstrosity that you've fought before, you're not going to be as scared as you were because it's a known
Yeah.
foe now. So it worked. I just didn't enjoy it as much
Right.
as it progressed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could draw a lot of comparisons to like if Link were to have a fully formed backstory and be a character, you could almost see that. I kind of start thinking about Sora, Sora from the Kingdom Hearts series,
Right.
who almost takes on that role. They're kind of similar in a lot of ways as they go on this adventure. They're like
Very well voiced.
yeah,
So-
and that game has great voice acting, and you come to care about Sora. I would find a Zelda game more engaging if I came to care about Link in the same way.
But what if Sora never spoke and then suddenly spoke?
Well, the thing is, that game wouldn't work to start with because it is
No.
Sora's story.
Obviously.
Whereas Link, the Zelda games tell the story of the kingdom and going.
Yeah.
But I suppose it is Link's story, so it's definitely a different storytelling mechanism.
But the difference is the initial decision at the outset to A, try and make it not about Link's story, and B, to not include voice. So I think it's the introduction part that I struggle with now.
Yeah.
But someone who came in at this latest Zelda game, they'd probably be great.
Yeah.
For me, it's the fear of what giving a voice means to a character, because suddenly a voice tells more than just, oh, this person has a voice.
Yeah.
It's going to dictate how strong that character is,
Yeah.
how experienced that character is in the world that they're in. And all of a sudden, because like Nintendo, obviously, they want you, in a lot of their games, it starts off with you playing Link before he's an important character
Yeah.
and making his way into becoming an
that's
important character.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's not that it couldn't be done. It would have to be exceptional for it to work.
Yeah.
And I think that's what scares me, is I don't know if they could do an exceptional job of it.
Yeah.
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 Same.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I'd like to be proven wrong.
We'll see, I guess.
What do you think?
Yeah.
You over there.
Yeah. Should Link have a voice or should he not have a voice?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
And what are your favourite silent protagonists?
Yeah.
Because I'd love to know what other ones there are that people can think of.
Cool. We'll see you every Tuesday and Thursday for more content.
Yeah.
Cheers.